There's like a glare from that there light. I could move the camera, but I'm not going to. You just gonna go ahead, put up with it. Or not. I guess really, it's up to you. It's your choice. Everything in life is about making choices. And it is your choice whether or not you want to stay here and get glared in the face or not. And of course, it's only if I move my head. And now it's gone, kind of. You can still see a little bit of something, but hey, if you want to stay and chit chat, I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that's not really that important. But I'd appreciate it if you stay and talk. There is a big elephant in the room, and that is that it is 2026, people. Who'd have thought already this fast? It's flying by, man. I'm telling you. It's cool. Everybody loves to get older, and the idea of being able to live to get older, but we also don't want to keep continuously getting older. And 2025 was so fast, and now 2026 is starting, and now we're already in like 2 weeks in. So it's just like flying by. But Happy New Year's to all y'alls out there. Hopefully everybody had a good holiday break, whether you celebrated Christmas or not and all that fun stuff. But I didn't do anything. I stayed up with my girlfriend and we kissed, and then she literally went to bed 5 minutes later and she was snoring within 10 minutes. So I mean, like, I stayed up. I played video games for a few more hours after that. But I mean, like, yeah, it was not like we did anything crazy. On top of that, we had some snow. Ohio got some snow and stuff, and it really wasn't worth even like going and hanging out with a friend at their house, dealing with the snow and the fact of obviously, like, people drink and drive a lot more heavily on New Year's and stuff. And so it was just like, let's just stay home. Plus, like I said, it was my first time spending New Year's with my girlfriend, obviously. It was our first New Year's together. So, just watch the ball drop and all that normal stuff, I guess. And like I said, she went to bed like literally right after, and I stayed up for many hours and played video games. And here we are, almost 2 weeks later. I decided to recently start streaming on Twitch again, using Murder and Murder, which used to be this YouTube channel's actual name prior to me changing it to something slightly more friendly, being as I was making denture content at the moment, and didn't really seem like Murder and Murder had a lot of denture related sounding qualities to it. Being as it's my gamer tag when I play video games, so it's my identity in the gaming world. But I started streaming a little bit here and there. I've been streaming a game that my girlfriend and I have been playing. Well, technically she's playing it and I'm watching because I've technically already played the game, which has been fun and stuff like that. But I live streamed last night for 4 hours and I got 34 total viewers just in that amount of time. And I never had that. I mean, like, even when I live stream on, used to live stream all the time on YouTube and stuff like that. I mean, like, I would, like, maybe get, like, 5 people maximum, and that was usually never at once. It was, like, 5 people through the entirety of a stream. So it was really awesome, different to have more than one person in the chat. I had some pretty funny moments that happened along the way. That made for just like I hard to explain exactly, but essentially it's like I'm in space and I have limited oxygen, and if I'm next to my vehicle, I can breathe using my vehicle's breathing like oxygenator. But if I leave my vehicle, I have a very limited amount of air supply that I can have before I have to then return to the vehicle to resupply my air. And I run away and I find something and I'm carrying it back to my vehicle, and I essentially have forgotten where I've parked my vehicle. And at this point, I am now out of oxygen, and it is telling me that I'm suffocating, and the screen is starting to turn red, and I am starting to panic and freak out because I'm like, oh my God, I've lost my vehicle. And it was just so funny to be able to look to the right, just even in just a millisecond of a time frame. I just looked to the left of the screen, and the entire chat is just filled with people just screaming, "You parked it on the mountain! You parked on the mountain!" All these things. And so I just like, it clicked, oh my God. So I turn to the right and I take off running up this mountain, and I fortunately make it to it before I like completely suffocate to death. But I was like I've never had that. Usually it's like I'm having some random chat with somebody or something like that. It's like a small enough where there's never enough people to like fill my entire chat feed with yelling at me about the fact that I parked my vehicle on a mountain and then ran off the mountain and forgot that I parked on the mountain. So there were a few other moments along the night that went pretty much similar, where they either helped me figure something out that I didn't know, or, we just had a good conversation. So, it was one of those things. It was a good time, but obviously I'm thinking of now just starting to live stream more because I've got free days available, and as those days will maybe eventually here be filled in with a new job, and and not have that ability to play, it's still that, just think about it. It's like, well, if I do have the free time, I might as well stream some video games, see if we can't find us some people to watch us play some video games. Blew my car up on Monday, which I'd feel way worse about if it wasn't for this very unconventional, confusing situation as to why it isn't my car, but it is my car regardless. Besides the extremely confusing details, it's just easy enough to explain it as I was driving home, start acting like it wasn't wanting to really drive. It was like shaking every time I applied the throttle. I was less than a mile from my house. I let off the gas. I reapplied the gas. It seemed as if it went away, but then all of a sudden it came back twice as hard. And I got to the end of our road, or to the end of a road, and I stopped at the stop sign, and then I had to accelerate from the stop sign onto a what is considered a highway, but it's not like your standard highway. It's literally just a road, but I don't even know how you explain exactly, but it's just a road, but it's called a highway. I don't know. So I had to pull out onto this, and the car, I was almost to the floor, and the car just barely moved. It then all of a sudden picked up and started moving. I have a very big hill I have to climb up to get to the road where I live. I was like, I'm never going to make it, so I just held it to the floor and turned the wheel as hard as I could, and somehow it just pulled me straight up the hill, even though it barely could pull me on the flat ground. It drove me right up the hill without really too much issue. I mean, besides it clearly not being happy about life, it is eventually, it got me almost home, and then 3 houses down from my house, it just starts blowing ungodly large plumes of blue oil smoke out my tailpipe as it's just engulfing my entire street. I get to in front of my house. I usually back my car into my driveway, knowing that I'm clearly going to have this freaking car towed. I want them to hook it up from the front. So I pull in front of my driveway. I angle myself so I can back in. I put my foot to the floor and jam it down into reverse so the RPMs spike up instead of like bogging way down. It clunks into reverse. It throws me back up into the driveway. The moment that my front wheels hit the front part of the of my actual driveway, the car shut off, and so it sat. So it was literally in my driveway, but it died the moment I pulled it in my driveway. Refused to start. Blah 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 blah. A whole bunch of bullshit aside. Ends up being a fuel pump that went out, which is so funny because I've never in my life experienced a car that gives you symptoms of I just blew up, and the end result is it was a fuel pump. But essentially the fuel pump that went out was an extremely high powered fuel pump that then sent metal shavings through the entire fuel system of my car. So now my engine has to be taken, completely disassembled, completely cleaned out, and then reassembled, and then started and prayed that nothing did anything horribly damaging on the inside when this fuel pump went out. So I just think it very funny to think that it's a foreign vehicle, and it's my first foreign vehicle, and it's like every American vehicle I've ever driven, never has anything ever like this ever happened. But had any of the stuff that I explained happened, it'd have been dead. And somehow this thing, like, shows you symptoms of it blowing up, ends up being a fuel pump, but because of the fuel pump going bad, it now has grenaded my entire motor. So, lucky me, right? Woohoo! Glad I bought this vehicle for winter instead of fixing the other vehicle that I have that I could have just spent way less money on and not had all this issues. Yeah, so it's okay. That's where we're at in life. I just figured I'd give you guys a small update. I've been leaving videos every once in a while here, and being as it's now 2026, I figured, I might as well say Happy New Year's, let you know what's going on with me. I'm live streaming. I've got a car that's blown up, and then I have to borrow my girlfriend's car, which is a red Kia Soul. And if you can imagine a 6'4" person climbing out of a red Kia Soul, it looks like I'm driving a freaking clown car. I actually like the car. Surprisingly, I'm not a Kia fan, but it's actually a very nice car. It's like actually really freaking nice, but you know, still it's a Kia, so it's, you know, it only can be so good, you know. But yeah, so you know, I'm very appreciative of her being able to allow me to drive her car to work. You know, being as I work third shifts, it makes it a little easy on us because, you know, she doesn't need the car until first shift. And, you know, I'm working third, it works out. So, but still, so now I have to figure out what I'm doing about my new car. Hopefully I'm supposed to have a buddy possibly trailer it to the shop this weekend for me and have them start to work on it, and while I sit for another 2 weeks or so without a car again or something, or however long it takes them to do this. So, yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys had a fantastic time watching me ramble about pretty much nothing, obviously, but just letting you know what it is to have a Matt Freeman life. It's pretty exciting, I have to admit. But, yeah, so if you guys liked the video, you could leave a like. If you subscribe, I haven't said that in probably like 20 years. It's not been 20 years, but it's definitely been at least 3 or 4 since I said that. Any of those things. And at this point in time, I don't even care to do it, dude. I mean, it's like how many times in the X amount of decades now that we've had YouTube that every single YouTuber forces the reality of like my videos if you like it or subscribe if you, and it's like, bro, do you think I wouldn't like it if I didn't naturally like the video? Like, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, I like this video, I'm gonna like it, you know, I'm gonna press that like button. But I don't need the YouTuber telling me to like his video for me to go, oh man, I totally forgot until this guy just said something, I need to like the video. Ain't happening, bro. Or same with subscribing, it's the same thing. It's like, bro, I like watching you. But there's some people that maybe you just like to watch for a little bit and then they kind of fade off in the distance, and then you start watching new people and stuff. I get that. I'm a part of the YouTube generations. I understand how this works. I just know that if you really like somebody and you're like, yo, I like this guy's content. I enjoy the way he talks and I like the way that he talks to me like he's normal, because he's not normal and he's like everybody else essentially. But yes, if you want to subscribe, you go right ahead, boo-boo. But if not, I'll see you on the flip side of Neverland. But to everybody who has subscribed, I appreciate every single one of you. And I love you. And I will see you next time, which I don't know when that will be, but it will be sooner than you think it will be. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. It won't be, but it could be. But it won't. So don't expect anything tomorrow, because there's nothing coming tomorrow. Or there will be. Dun, dun, dun. But there isn't. I really don't have anything planned. But I could. See, that's that weird part, because now at this point I'm thinking about it. It's like I could totally do something tomorrow if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but I totally could.